everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Your Saltwater Guide, Captain Dave Hansen, right here, right now, live with Jaime Diamond. And we are excited. We got a lot to talk about. We got a lot going on in the fishing industry, and we've got a lot to talk about with closures and what's going on and where we're headed in this whole MPA structuring and all the other things that are going on in the world today. And first of all, I want to thank everybody for always hitting the subscribe button, the like button, following along with us with what we got going on. Hit the subscribe button and the like button if you're not following us. Hit the notification button if you are, so that you can get notified that we're going live. And I want to thank everybody. The Pacific Coast Sport Fishing Show is coming up at the Orange County Fairgrounds the 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. We're going to be there. Kelly Girl, myself, Justin, every single person, all the family of Your Saltwater Guide. We're all going to be there on Saturday, the 7th of March. We're going to have a fan appreciation dinner like we did last year. Captain Al Clowers is going to have his motorhome in the parking lot. We're going to have a big barbecue out there on Saturday after the show breaks. But Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we're going to be speaking every day. We're going to be in the tent. I talked to Bill yesterday. We're going to be in the exact same spot we were last year. Hopefully it doesn't rain, because last year it rained and got our carpet all wet, but we don't care. If it rains, it rains. If it don't, it don't. We don't really care. We're going to be all there. We're going to be hanging out. We're going to be having fun. And we're going to have that stage right in front of us. We're going to be doing all kinds of seminars. We're going to have the kids seminar on Saturday. We're going to have all kinds of stuff going on. So you want to make sure that you're at the PCS show, because it's going to be incredible. And then we're going to do it again in Del Mar. We're going to do the show again in Del Mar the 19th, 20th, 21st, 22nd. We're going to be at the Del Mar Fairgrounds. So you're going to get your full share of Your Saltwater Guide. That is for damn sure. And then, Jaime, are you and Jason going to be at the Pacific Coast Sport Fishing Show?
So I will not be there, because it is the same time as the Pacific Fishery Management Council, and I am one of the newer representatives for the state of California. But my crew from the Stardust and the Coral Sea will be there. They'll be popping in. They'll be Captain Sal will be there the whole time, along with crew Jason, and our kids will be coming down probably over the weekend. And so we'll be there.
It'll be a fun time, and hopefully Jason and the crew can come by and get a free burger or a hot dog from us in the afternoon on Saturday. We're going to be having a barbecue in the parking lot, so it'll be fun anyway. Even if you don't make it to the show on Friday or Saturday, gang, make sure you're there on Thursday or Friday. Make sure you're there on Saturday, because Saturday is going to be epic. And if it was anything like last year, my gosh, you can't even move. There's so many people. It's so fun to see all the people show back up and touch everybody. But Jaime, what is going on? You are all over the place. You run a landing. Talk about running the landing for a second.
Yeah, so unexpectedly in October of 2021, we took over previously called Sea Landing. It's now Santa Barbara Landing. It's a lease with the waterfront department with the city, and they chose to non-renew with the previous ownership. And so us, Jake, my husband, and I that have the Stardust and the Coral Sea, along with some of the other businesses that already operate from here, came together, formed Santa Barbara Landing, and I'm the manager and the main person kind of running the show, and really whipped this place into shape. And I have to apologize. You might hear some hammering, some sawing in the background. We finally, after 3 years of bureaucratic red tape, are starting our big remodel project. And we're really excited for what this facility is going to be able to turn into once we're done. So.
Oh, yeah, we hear the hammers in the background, but it's not too loud, so it's okay.
Okay, good.
Yeah, so up there, you guys are really affected by the rockfish closures. My goodness, it's kind of sad what they're doing as far as trying to close us out of this fishing thing. And now here we go with the MPA again. They're coming at us. It's Michael Folks and I talk about it on our Tuesday History of Sport Fishing show. It's death by a million cuts.
It really is. They finally did the decadal review. They were supposed to review MPAs after 10 years. It was more than 10 years, but they finally did it. And they came up with a whole bunch of suggestions. And really, none of those suggestions were let's make more and let's make them bigger. Unfortunately, the ENGOs found a loophole and a way to put in petitions as part of the review process to expand existing MPAs and create new ones. And so we are now facing MPA 2.0, and we need folks to get busy. You're going to start seeing messaging from organizations like All Waters and others that will give you clear guidance on what we support and what we don't support through this process. Because there are suggestions to some of the MPAs that will make it more user-friendly, better signage, things like that. But then it clearly states why we oppose certain things, not just because we don't like it. We want people to have to equip you with the responses to meaningfully be able to respond to why these MPAs don't make sense from a scientific standpoint, but also from a social standpoint. So, yeah.
Well, real quick, before we go any further, and we're going to get way into this today, gang, if you could share this show with everybody, and it's super important because this is the beginning of the end if you don't pay attention and if you don't act. So if we could get every single person involved and share this show like we did when we were saving the sand bass, it's super important. And Jamie will talk more about it as we go on in this show. But I just want to stop for 1 second and ask every single person that's watching to share this with everybody you know, because this is super important information. And really, if you look at it, Jamie, and it's sad because you can't see anything about it. The private boater has no information on what's going on. There is nothing out there. Unfortunately, it's up to me and you and a few other people to get the word out there, because here we go again. We are under attack. They're going to take away more of our rights in the California for fishing. And it's, if you don't pay attention right now, we the people are the only people that can stop it.
It really is up to us. It's up to you out there. Your voice is what matters, because those of us that are at these meetings all the time, we're gonna come in and we're gonna say what we have to say, but they need to hear from the masses what Californians, how and what we really feel and think about these MPAs and what that means to you personally if this happens. And that is what has the most impact.
Yeah, and we the people are the only people that can stop this. Unfortunately, gang, you don't get it, but we the people, it's up to us. You can't sit back and say, well, you know, you didn't do anything if you don't show up to these meetings. And they've made it so easy for us to show up now with the Zoom aspect of the thing. We can all be there. We can We can raise our hand like we did for the sand bass. We can all have our 1 whole minute to speak about what we feel about it. Unfortunately, we have 1 whole minute whenever we share. But like I always say, don't ever be negative. Be precise, be honest with what you feel, but don't be negative, because that doesn't work. It hasn't ever worked, and it's not going to work.
Don't make it about the person that wrote the petition or the organization that wrote the petition. You need to be clear and explain how it affects you, what it means to you, your livelihood, your ability to get food on your table, your ability to have meaningful recreation in our state waters. That is what's really important. And that's what the letters that are going to start circulating, that's what that will help us all do. And just to be clear, so what they are going to be doing this time around is there will be the remote opportunity for participation, but they're doing bio-regional meetings. So they've lumped the MPA petitions into 3 bioregions. The first is up at, I believe, around Bodega Bay. And then the next will be Santa Barbara. And then the next will be Oceanside or San Clemente area. So, and the dates are already out there, and I can tell you what they are right now. April 21st, it's a Tuesday, will be in Half Moon Bay, and they will be mainly talking and focusing on the petitions in that Northern California area. And then on May 5th, they're going to come to Santa Barbara, and they're going to talk about all the petitions in the Central Coast to Northern South Coast region. And then on May 19th, they're going to be coming to Oceanside, Northern San Diego is what they have it currently listed as on May 19th. The actual specific locations have not been posted yet, but those are the areas that they will be. So you can show up in person because they've made it easier for us to show up. And if you can't, then you can also participate online.
And wherever they're doing these meetings for Half Moon Bay, Santa Barbara, San Clemente, San Diego, you show up in person in your town. I understand that, but to travel, it's hard. But we need to show up at every
meeting.
Single meeting via Zoom or being in person, gang. It's up to us. It's up to us this time around. I mean, last time when they first put these things into effect, my father and I, and Donna, we were showing up at all. We were traveling all over the place, but there was no Zoom back in those days. And we were told that when they do put these in effect, that will be it. Once they get them in, we won't need any more because this is going to solve all the problems of the world. Here we go, though. Here we are again. And they're going to take more of the ocean away from us. And for what? What is the true meaning that they need these pieces for? What do they need them for, Jamie?
So there's a lot of different claims throughout the petitions that are the counter letter, the letter that All Waters and others have put together, counters every single point and rationale that these people have made the reason why this needs to happen. Some they try and base in their pseudoscience. There's a lot of inaccuracies. There's a lot of baloney. There's a group in the Dana Point area. It's a bunch of NIMBYs. They just don't want to see people fishing in their backyard. It's a bunch of elitist, entitled folks out there that just don't want to see it. And so there's different reasons for different petitions. But again, some of them are not asking for more closures or expanded closures. Some of these petitions are saying, hey, the signage is really bad. We don't know what we can and can't do here, and the general public doesn't know that. So we'd like to see this change. There's even a petition to allow pelagic fishing in an area that is currently closed to all fishing, because the MPAs really are about more about ground fish and kelp and things like that. So there's some petitions that are there to actually try and create access or provide more opportunity. So it's not a blanket no. And it's just really important that you guys inform yourselves on what's going on and which petitions specifically you want to speak to.
Right. And to think that we can look at here, I was told, and my father, we were told that when they review this stuff, and it was a 5-year review, now it's 10 year, now it's 15, whatever it is, that they were going to review it and see if it actually works. And yes, if you stop everybody from going into an area, that area is going to have more fish in it. Let's be honest. Even the fish know that. But
actually,
that is no... Huh?
Hang on. I'm going to stop you right there. So the areas that were productive and healthy continued to be productive and healthy. The areas that were not productive and not healthy got worse.
Oh.
Because, so Northern California, for example, some of those MPAs turned into urchin barrens that destroyed all the kelp. And now there's no way to do anything about it because you can't go in and cull the urchin that are keeping the kelp from growing. And so what this was supposed to be was an opportunity to say, hey, what tweaks can we do and actually do something like allow kelp planting, outplanting, find ways to get artificial reefing, or can we change this petition to allow the take of urchin? Things like that would actually help improve. That's what the intent was, and it got absolutely manipulated into MPA 2.0. And there was a lot of you and your dad were there. Donna was there. My husband Jason was there. There was a lot of negotiating that went on, and trade-offs. Really productive, healthy areas that were vitally important were traded off for other areas that were vitally important, and now they're going after those other areas that they didn't get the first time around. And that's just, I mean, if everything is special, nothing is special.
Right. Well, what I was trying to lead up to was the perfect Wayne Coda and I, we've talked about this several times on this show, is they came back and they looked at us and they said, how can we bring the urchin divers back into these areas to save the kelp forest? And it's like, no. You can't have your cake and eat it too. You guys set this up and it's a failure. And you need to understand that it's a failure. And they came back and they wanted to go in there and harvest sea urchins because they don't even know. I'm sorry, these NGOs, they don't even know what they're fighting for or where they're fighting. Well, maybe if you take away, I'm sorry, I'm all over the place, but maybe if you take away all the money, that they'll stop showing up. I mean, the NGOs, they're paid. These people are paid to protest. These people are paid to close fishing. These people are getting paid a phenomenal amount of money to think that they're doing something good, but they're not. They're just getting paid.
Well, yeah. If there isn't a problem, they don't have a job. So they have to manufacture the problems to secure to their board of why they are relevant and should still be getting paid to do something. But it's amazing. If the ocean is healed, they have no job anymore, right? Like if things are better, for the first time in decades, actually in my lifetime, I think, there are no overfished groundfish stocks on the West Coast from Washington through California. For the first time in my lifetime, there are no groundfish, so no rockfish that are declared overfish anymore. And that's amazing. And instead of celebrating that, and instead of saying, hey, we're doing good, they're coming around and saying, oh no, it's actually so bad you don't even know it, and we're going to tell you what that we know better than you, and we know what's best for you. It's awful. These people came from out of the area. They didn't know any of the areas that they were talking about in these petitions. They'd never come to these communities, never seen what these areas look like, what type of fisheries occur, and they want it all. They just don't like seeing us there.
Yeah, and then you say the rockfish. There's nowhere that states that they're overfished anymore. Does that mean? Does that mean, since you said on the Pacific Fisheries Council, does that mean we're going to get rockfish opened again?
Well, rockfish are open. So overfished and overfishing are two different things. And I don't want to get too into it because it gets, I'll get fired up about it. You'll get fired up about it. Everybody else will get really fired up about it. But so overfished. So cow cod were overfished, right? They are no longer overfished. The other one was yellow eye. Then there used to be canary, boccaccio,
warthog.
Chili pepper. All these different species of groundfish had been declared overfished some 40 years ago. And as of this last year, yellow eye was the last one of those groundfish species that was still overfished, and it has met the threshold of no longer being overfished. So what has happened is we have had areas over the last, I want to say 4 years, the cow cod conservation areas, those have been lifted. There are other issues, whether you agree with them or not, or whether I agree with them or not, with other stocks as far as us having fished them heavily, and now we need to throttle back. Whether I think that's true or not is a different story, but that's the reality in the landscape we're in. And that's why we have our wonky season schedule right now of no fishing January, February, March, and then April through June, it's all depths. And July, August, September, it's under 50 fathoms. And then October, November, December, it's over 50 fathoms. I also want to make sure that folks online understand that we're talking about two different management entities that our fisheries are regulated under. There's the state fisheries through the Fish and Game Commission and the California Department of Fish and Wildlife. Then there is our federal fisheries, which are all our rockfish, our lingcod. Tuna is federally and internationally managed. So we're talking about two different things. The current fishing regulations for rockfish are under federal management, which is separate from, say, whitefish, sheephead, California halibut, our sand bass, calico bass, things like that. Two separate management bodies. Just so people don't understand where this conversation is.
Yeah, well,
because we're kind of going all over the place.
No, I know. We're just kind of because the whole regulation thing's all over the place.
It's spaghetti. It's a big plate of spaghetti, really. I mean, fish move. They swim. They have fins. They don't know that they're supposed to stay in a certain box.
No. When they opened up the Calcod conservation zones, so many people thought that meant they opened up the Calcod.
Yeah.
Everybody tells us, everything I read about fishing, the fishing game, the Pacific Marine Fisheries Council, everything says that the Calcod numbers are back to a sustainable number. But that means nothing for us, right?
Right now, no. But one of the things that for those who are interested in following how fisheries are managed, one of the things that we asked to get analyzed by the scientists, by the number crunchers, is to see if there's some opportunity for retention of cow cod in the near future. And it's taken a long time to get there. And it's only because people are really nervous that if everybody goes out and starts catching cow cod every day, that we're going to get shut right back down. And we don't want that to happen because that's how fragile things are, unfortunately. So we want to do this thoughtfully and in a way that provides opportunity and then provides future opportunity for more fish to be able to be retained. But right now you cannot retain cow cod, just to be very clear. You still cannot retain any cow cod. They must be descended. But they're out there. There's a lot out there in my, just what I know, I hear from folks on the water, private boaters, my boats, just there's a lot of fish out there.
Yeah, when you open up a depth and now you can fish when they open it up and you can fish unlimited depth, you're absolutely going to fall and accidentally catch a cow cod or a bronze rockfish or a golden eye or yellow eye or whatever you guys want to call them. I mean, I went to Alaska and you can't keep the yellow eyes off your line. I mean, there's just a billion, but you can't keep them. But
and that's kind of what guys are seeing, like with cow cod down here. They see them and it's like they're everywhere. So we're trying to, I say we now because I am part of that. I myself am not able to make anything magically happen. If I could, I would. But we're now looking and getting options analyzed of what that would look like, how we can make this happen in a way where all of a sudden it doesn't go from zero to so much that they have to throttle things back hard. And we don't want that. We want it's going to be a slow rollout. Hard to imagine it being any slower than it is, but
it's so ludicrous. But you know what, Jamie, someone like you being on the inside gives us hope. And there's a lot of people here talking right now. And Wayne has a ton of stuff to bring up. Like, they didn't really address you might disagree with me, but I think there's only two real problems in the ocean. the California sea lion and urban sewage runoff. And those are the only two, but they will not, and they won't address either one of those problems.
I
They
agree.
won't. They
I
won't. I
agree.
mean, how
The
many?
real threats to the health of our oceans have nothing to do with us as fishermen, not recreational or even commercial for that matter. And really the conversation here is about like the near shore fisheries. And so the things that are the threats to that, okay, how about this? I can jump in the water and go swimming on a near a boat that's fishing, right? And it's not like the boat isn't in and of itself isn't doing anything to the habitat or the fish other than taking your legally allowed limits. But you cannot jump into the water after a rain event. You don't go swimming or surfing after it rains. Why? Because of all the crap running offshore into the ocean. And that does have an effect on our oceans. The red tides, it's a lot of the different fertilizers and pesticides and things that run off through the storm drains, whether it be from urban runoff or suburban runoff or agricultural runoff, sewage spills. Sewage spills are happening all the time. And the sewage companies, they get a slap on the wrist and a fine, their insurance pays it and move on. But then we're expected to take the heat and take the hit because of these other issues that have nothing to do with us. And it's not right. And really, and this is things that folks like Wayne and Donna and myself, SAC and others brought up during the decadal review. How are you going to actually address the real threats? The Tijuana River, that's been spewing sewage into an MPA, by the way, because Tijuana doesn't care about our MPA, right? Like, I mean,
No.
not that Tijuana has anything to do with it, but it's this sewage spill off, and it's been happening for decades. And you're going to tell me that has no effect on anything? You're not going to do anything about it? Like, how are we addressing that? So there's a bigger problem that needs to get addressed, and this isn't going to do it.
Well, the bottom line is there's no money to make. There's no one that's going to make any money on fixing the sewage problem. There's just not anything. But to stop the fishermen, oh my gosh, there's so much money to be made in stopping the fishermen. The thing also that blows my mind is the California sea lion is the most sacred animal on the planet. I know you guys can't talk about it. You guys can't talk about it in those meetings. You can't talk about it because it's such a pure, sweet animal. I mean, we talk about it all the time on my show because I answer to no one, but you guys got to be real careful talking about sea lions. And really, if you think about it, the amount of food those animals eat on a daily basis doesn't even get discussed in the
Predation,
management of our fish.
predation of from pinnipeds, sea lions, harbor seals. Really, it's sea lions. It does get brought up. That discussion is a lot heavier up in the Pacific Northwest because of salmon up there, and in Northern California, it gets addressed a little bit. The federally recognized and treaty tribes are trying to do something about it because it's affecting their fisheries as well. There was a hearing, a federal hearing about a month or two ago that discussed predation by sea lions and marine mammals and how to address that, because they're at numbers that they've never been. They are unchecked. And, there's all of these areas up and down the coast that have been taken over that, but we can't reclaim them. We can't do anything about it. And when they eat more than that area eat more, whether it's forage fish or juvenile rockfish or baby sand bass or whatever it may be, they're eating more than that area was ever designed to sustain. These areas weren't designed to sustain this level of population. So it's a very tricky discussion to have in California. But Oregon and Washington are able to have that conversation a little better. And there are some areas with some limited permits trying to find a way to deal with it, because they have sea lions going hundreds of miles upriver in these, and you're not supposed to be there. Did you not know that you're not supposed to be there, Mr. Sea Lion? You're not supposed to be 400 miles upriver.
Exactly. I was on April Volke's podcast, and she is like blown away that the sea lions are up in those rivers eating her beloved steelhead. They're and she was like, you got to be kidding me. And then she researched it. Then we did a round table with a Eskimo and an Indian and a fish and wildlife specialist from Washington. And yeah, and we opened up their eyes and we let them know, yeah, these sea lions are a horrible animal. Even though you guys think they're cute and fuzzy and cuddly, they're the farthest thing from it. And I can't even tell you how much money Donna spends fixing her docks every year. You've got to, you are.
So for us, we have more. We have harbor seals more than sea lions. We have sea lions, but in our harbor, we're actually really lucky. We have harbor seals, which are far less destructive. They just lay there and they don't get nearly as big as those jumbo sea lions, but they affect our fishing for sure, because they're out and they have different haul out areas on the coast, but also out at the Northern Channel Islands, which is where we fish mostly. And they're all over the place out there. So they'll shut us down sometimes. They'll ruin a whole day of fishing sometimes. It's rough.
I was asked a question a couple days ago. What's the biggest change I've seen in my short little 55-year career of fishing for a living in California? It's the California sea lion. We never had the problem on the coast that the guys are dealing with today as far as driving a sport boat and going fishing. You have 5 or 6 of them on you all day long, every sport boat in Southern California. And it's just absolutely incredible that you even can get a fish through the gauntlet.
So, was it first weekend of January? Jason and I took 2 of our 3 kids down to San Diego because the bonito bite was so hot, and we just something fun to do before we haul the boat out and we're in full maintenance mode. And we get on the school finally, trolling around for a long time, and finally get on them. Cast my jig out. I got a bonito on there. It's decent. Winding it in, and all of a sudden just whoosh, gone. And next thing I know, we just see sea lions all around the boat. Nothing. Gotta leave. Go somewhere else. We'll snag one. We'll get one on the troll. Somebody will cast into them. Maybe a couple get landed, and then sea lions back on us instantly. And I mean, that was the whole day. It was over and over and over again. And it was unbearable. I don't know how those guys do it like that down there. That is rough.
It's sad. It's so sad. And when they keep coming after you and Donna and all the sport boat operators up and down the coast and taking away more of our ability to catch fish, and then taking away more of the area. Here you're going to take away more with the MPAs, and you're going to squish us into these tiny little areas where we have to try to make a living. And then the sea lions, they follow the boat around. It's just,
we're not harassing them; they're harassing us. I mean,
it's ludicrous.
Yeah,
it's ludicrous, and all the people that are going to suffer from the small businesses that sell donuts and sell coffee and sell fishing licenses and tackle, and everybody's going to suffer in this thing when they close more of the California coast to fishing.
Yeah. But they're not, because we're not going to let them. Right? You guys are going to get fired up. You're going to show up and you're going to speak up respectfully, but we're going to show up and we're going to speak up, and we're not going to be silenced. And we need, like I said before, we need to say, look, here's my areas that I fish in, or maybe you fish everywhere and you can say that too, but say, this is why this is important to me. And this is why this doesn't make sense. And if you can, dispute specific points in the different proposals, that's even better. But we need to be showing up to these 3 meetings that are coming up in May. It's going to be incredibly important. It all hinges on this. Now, my understanding is there aren't decisions that are going to be made at those meetings. They're not voting yes or no at those meetings. That will be later at a full Fish and Game Commission meetings down the road later in the year. We don't have the exact timeline yet, but just so people don't think like you're waiting for a yes or a no, that's not going to happen that day. But that is the time for these communities, and there's so many communities that don't know that this is coming. And it's really important that you can email, you can send in letters, you can mail letters in directly, but also contact your city councils, contact your county supervisors, contact your legislators, let them know that you don't want this, that this hurts and harms you for your right as a citizen of California, your California constitutional right to fish, for your business, if you're affected by your business with this, and explain why this is important to you. For me and my kids, and where I live, the kids at the high school and the middle school, they go down to the beach after school. They go surf. Like, I mean, this is a pretty cool way. Pretty cool that we live where we do. But they'll go down, they'll go surfing, and then they'll go free diving and grab a lobster or shoot a halibut. This area that they're proposing a new MPA off of Carpinteria, that's the only rocky reef kelpie habitat left in the area that isn't an MPA and is safe distance for small skiffs, for small skiffs and private, things like that. That's where a lot of our bass fisheries are on the coast, and they want to take it all. That'll hit commercial halibut fishermen, commercial lobster fishermen, recreational lobster fishermen. That's a big area for them. Sand bass, calico bass. That's where we get our coastal white sea bass close to harbor. Like, I mean, there's so many different things that'll be affected by these communities and the people that rely on that to put food on their table daily, even.
Absolutely. Absolutely, gang. I just want to stop for 1 second and show my buddy Todd made us a cool video. Todd Manser, you know him very well, Jamie.
Yeah.
So check out this cool video that Todd made us, and then I want to get back into this because we only got 20 minutes left and we have like 3,000 hours to talk about. Check this out.
Hey guys, Captain Todd here with McCarty Yacht Group and Manser Marine. Guys, I'm down here in Dana Point Harbor and it is beautiful. Guys, I just want to let you know, if you guys are interested in buying or selling a boat right now, you can give me a call at McCarty Yacht Group. My number is 949-547-7748. We helped some beautiful people get into some wonderful boats this summer, and we're hoping that you give us a call so we can help you get through the entire process. It's not always as easy as you'd think, and you need somebody like us that has the experience to get you through it, from putting in offers, getting you through surveys, and getting into that final acceptance. If you guys are interested, give me a call at 949-547-7748. And hey guys, if you're interested in management, we have some spots open for yacht management, and this is a full service yacht management. We take care of the ins and outs of your boat so you don't have to. Make sure it's turnkey at any time. If you guys are interested, let me know at 949-547-7748. I look forward to
All right. There you go, Todd. So what I wanted to talk about, Jamie, is how we were so just able to slow this sand bass menagerie because we showed up. They had never seen they had never seen the masses show up the way we did. But one thing that I need you and anybody else that's watching this that understand, they only allowed 50 of us on the Zoom meeting. That's criminal. That's against the law. But the only reason they allowed 50 is because that's all they paid for. The Zoom meeting, you have to pay for X amount of users. So what they did was criminal because they only allowed 50 of us in. And there was 150 of my members that I know of that weren't able to get on the Zoom meeting. So this time around, we have to be conscious of that because there's going to be way more than 50 that want to speak. And we need to make sure that they're not going to play any flim-flam stuff with us. And you guys can all say whatever you want. I answer to no one. So I answer to my people, and my people are going to come out in droves to stop this and slow it down. So we got to make them accountable this time and allow the thousands of people that are going to come.
Make it undeniable. The voice, the overwhelming majority opposes these MPA expansions and new proposals. I'd say the majority of people out there. The unfortunate part is, again, the majority of people don't even know that this is happening.
No, they don't. And, you know, the thing that caught me was you talking about the MPAs on your social media platform. And then my phone started ringing. And they're all, are the MPAs gone? Can we go fishing in there now? Is everything open? I'm like, whoa,
The opposite.
Let me call Donna and find out what just happened. And it was just Jaime trying to get the word out that we all need to show up, gang.
Yeah. If everybody took the time to share those types of posts, then folks would be able to know that this is happening. So following your saltwater guide and Dave Hansen, because he's going to make sure you know what's going on, you know what's going down. Okay. Following the sport fleet. A lot of us will share this type of information when it's time for you to engage, or we need you guys to step up, just like we did with sand bass. There's a bunch of different organizations out there. All Waters is representing kind of the whole state of recreational fishermen on the coast. And I think they're doing a really good job of it. And they're working on disseminating the information. They have a letter that they submitted to the Fish and Game Commission that's really cohesive and explains petition by petition what we do and don't support. If we want them to accept it or reject it or modify it, and sharing those types of posts like what I shared, that's how we get the word out, and that's how we get people to understand when and where to show up.
And we'll go over it again, Jason, in a little bit about where the meetings are and when they're going to be. And then as I do this show every single day, six days a week, I'm constantly doing the show, constantly talking about what the problems are and as far as fishing goes. And we also talk about the good things that are going on too. So don't get me wrong. We're not all negative, but my goodness, if someone doesn't talk about this thing, it's going to be all taken away from us.
We're going to get steamrolled, and we can't let that happen.
And there's entities out there that would just love that. They would just love that. No fishing anywhere on the planet. That would be absolutely ludicrous. It's just the craziest thing I've ever thought of, because when I was a little kid, there was nothing more important than taking a kid fishing. That was the most important thing you could do for a child. And I talk about it all the time on my show. You got to take children fishing. The future of the planet is the children. And teachers today teach them that Jaime and Dave are the enemy. We go out on the ocean and we catch fish and we have fun and we have a suntan. Oh my gosh. If you have a suntan, boy, you are really, really, really going out of your way to cause problems. You're a disruptor, is what I've been told I am.
You know, that's not a bad thing. We need disruptors.
I wear it on my sleeve. I don't care. You call me whatever you want. Just make sure you keep calling me and make sure you keep following me.
I want to point out, there are some really great teachers out there, some really great schools out there that are doing a lot for kids in fishing. I do want to point out, okay? It's not all teachers and it's not all schools. But there are a lot of, Wayne Cotto actually sent me, while we were talking about the Tijuana River, Coronado High School has a Stop the Sewage Club. And it's specifically about the Tijuana River. And they made a trip to Sacramento to meet with San Diego delegation members to address the Tijuana River pollution crisis and work with state and federal government on a cross-border solution. Now, I also know that a cross-border solution was discussed last year from a federal standpoint, and I don't know what has come up with that. I don't know where that's going, but it's not happening fast enough because there's still how many hundreds or thousands of gallons a day spewing into the ocean. But anyways, there's also teachers, I think in the Dana Point area, San Clemente area, and they do a white sea bass program at the high school where they help raise white sea bass and then help release them out of Dana Wharf. And some other schools down out of San Diego do something similar. And then I work with a really great guy up my way, Kevin Brannon, that has Reel Guppies and Reel Anglers, Oceans of Opportunities. And he works with kids in schools, and the after school program at the school that my kids go to. And it's a fishing club, but it's responsibility. It's catch, clean, cook. It's how to fish from shore, how to pick a bait, how to know what you're catching, and how to understand regulations and things like that. So there's some really cool fishing clubs and fishing organizations that are working with schools. And there's plenty of ways to get involved. So I'm sure if folks search in the area, if they're looking to help or donate some gear, even to some fishing clubs at a high school, get a kid fishing.
Yeah, absolutely. That's how we're going to fight this thing, gang, is if we get enough people involved and enough of the young people, we're going to catch them. We're going to get their attention. Now, there's these meetings, April 21st, Half Moon, May 5th, Santa Barbara, May 19th, San Clemente. If you're close to these places, show up in person. If you're not, show up on the Zoom meeting, and we'll have all that information available for you as it comes down the pipe, gang. We'll be super, super involved in the whole process. We got Wayne, we got Jaime, we got my sister, Donna. We keep informed as much as we possibly can, and we're going to keep you all informed because I keep saying this, but we keep adding new people to the show, and we, the people, are the ones that are going to we can't let some other company get involved and think they're going to save us. We are the only people that are going to save us. We, the people. It's time to take back America. It's time to take back California. It's time we, the people, do something. We can't rely on other people because you guys keep relying on other people, and then you're like shocked when it's gone. And you look and you go, well, how did that happen? Well, you weren't involved. You got to be involved. You got to be involved. You got to be involved, and you got to wake up, and you got to help us. Even if you don't like fishing and you don't like being out on the water and you hate having fun, we still do. So help us. We still like to have fun.
And we don't tell you that you can't go, pick up trash or whatever. Not that we aren't doing that, because we're the ones on the water picking up the Mylar balloons and the trash that's out there that gets washed out of the different watersheds. But, we don't yuck your yum. We don't poo-poo on your parade when you want to go frolic with the flowers. If you're making a choice to live your life a certain way, that's fine. But that doesn't give you the right to tell us how we can and can't live and survive and recreate and feed our families.
And let's be honest, Jaime, as well as anybody running a landing, you cannot affect the population of the fish in the ocean with a fishing pole, a piece of string, and a hook.
Yeah. We're so streamlined and restricted with what we can do. We're limited by the amount of people we can put on the boat. We're limited by the number of days we can go fishing for the season, but also weather and getting enough people to get the trip off the dock. And then we have one rod with 2 hooks, and that's it per person. And it's not possible. And so, this is and it's widely acknowledged. Our West Coast fisheries here, and California especially, but our West Coast fisheries are the most heavily restricted and managed fisheries in the world. There's the most levels and layers of protection and precaution to everything that happens. And to act as if the sky is falling and every fish is going to be gone tomorrow if we don't put these MPAs in there, it's crazy. And so, there's so much management that exists, and it may be heavy-handed, but it worked because it obviously, cow cod, for example, go back to cow cod. Your dad would come into meetings and go, well, it's never going to happen in my lifetime. 100 years it'll take to rebuild. 20 years later, here we are. So obviously it's overly precautious as it is, because the stock came back and then some in 20 years as opposed to 100 that was predicted. So, to act like we're in this crisis, we're not. Fishing has nothing to do with whatever other issues are on the ocean, and fishing in and of itself is not going to change all of these other factors. So
I just want to bring up one more thing before we get out of here. All these companies that were taking apart the houses that burned in the Palisades, and they were saying, not in my landfill. This is a toxic, not in my land. That stuff ran freebore into the ocean for how many days? How much of that stuff?
And some of it still.
Nobody talks about it. Nobody.
Wayne Coda, fishermen were the first people to bring it up at Fish and Game Commission meetings. Fishermen.
Yeah, well, Wayne was bringing it up. Wayne was I've had him on the show many times. He was hey, gang, what about if a landfill won't take the stuff, how can it just run free into the ocean? But you and me with the fishing pole, we're the problem.
Yep. Yeah.
Right.
Apparently we're an easy target to point to, but the truth is the science doesn't back it up. And that's what we do have on our side. The science doesn't back up MPAs as a wholesale solution, stopping fishing as the wholesale solution. So it shouldn't even be on the table. But because organizations found a loophole to further their agendas and fill their coffers, here we go. Here we are.
Oh, absolutely. It's just, we're the lowest hanging fruit on the tree, Jamie. We are the fishermen. We're the lowest hanging fruit on the tree, so they're going to keep coming after us from every angle. And this MPA thing is just one of the many, many things they're coming after us at. And I could talk about all the different things for all day long. We wouldn't even cover a tiny little bit of it. It's just constant. They're coming at us. It's just like Wayne. It's just amazing how many arrows are being fired at the sport fishing fishermen.
Yeah. And especially a lot of this came up as we were mid and just coming out of COVID. And to have to, as a business owner too, on top of it, all of the different arrows, as you said, that were getting flung at us right then and continue to, because we're the easy target, right? So I don't even want to get into it because I don't want to open those worms right now. It's going to get me all fired up again. But, but what we can do is we can point to our track record, and we can point to what we are able to do and how we're able to do it, and that we keep our side of the street clean. And say, no, it is not supported by science to do these things. And that's what forced me to get to the Pacific Fishery Management Council, was saying we need more voices like ours in these places that are making these decisions, because historically they haven't been there.
Yeah, Wayne summed it up perfect. Conservation can live with sustainable consumption. Outdoor recreation can coexist. Absolutely, but not if you close everything. It's the most ludicrous thing I've ever heard of. The MPAs went into effect. What year did they go into effect?
Gosh, I don't even remember.
It's 20 years almost, right?
2006, 5, 6, 6.
Yeah,
7, no,
years ago.
8, 2008, I think. Well, so here's the interesting thing. For me, I see it as longer because we actually had pre-MPAs at the Northern Channel Islands. Before the state MPAs, we had federal MPAs imposed upon us out at the Channel Islands. And so for me, I get it a little mixed up because it's all the same to me. An MPA is an MPA, whether the states or the feds did it. So I remember I was pregnant and had just had my first. He was born in 2006, and Jason was going to all of the different meetings for the MPAs. So within a few years of that is when they went into place.
All right. Jim Hendricks said it was 12 years ago.
There
Seems
you
like
go.
a lot longer to me.
Well, like I said, for us here, we had the Northern Channel Islands that went in long before, a few years before that. So yeah, it's been a long time.
And one thing I can tell you is they don't give them back once they take them away, gang. That's a fantasy. It doesn't come back. We were in that meeting when I remember we were up at the Ritz or at the Dana Point Resort, and we were up there, and they were telling us when they reviewed them after 10 years, and I just stood up. I couldn't take it anymore. All the lies and all the rhetoric, and I just stood up in the middle of the meeting, whole bunch of people there, and I just said, "Hey, we're all here, fishermen. We ain't getting paid to be here. We're here to know if you're opening. All we want to hear is you say that you're going to open it or not." And they said, as long as the structure remains in the MPA, we're never opening it. And I was like, that's all I need to hear. Goodbye.
Yeah.
Yep. It's not about fish. It's not about structure. It's about control.
So
first MLP map went in 1929, Wayne. Oh, wow. That's crazy. Okay. Yeah, that was a while ago.
Okay. Along La Jolla shoreline, 1929. Wow. Yeah. That was a long time ago. So La Jolla had it first, and I don't know if that was a state. Maybe Wayne. I got a delay on my phone. I'm trying to follow the phone conversation on Facebook, and it's a little much for me. You're more of a, that's your job, and you're a pro at that. But
isn't it funny?
Yeah.
I just want to mention something, Jamie. It's funny that nobody watches my show, but oh my gosh, they all are watching my show. Isn't that amazing?
It's so crazy.
I don't know. I get 12 to 15 million views a month. So I'm getting them from somewhere. They might not be watching the show, but something's happening here. And oh my gosh, all that I had to do was bring you on, and then everybody got involved.
Well, then we need to get the women on here more often.
Yeah, so I want to get Donna and you on here, and I want to get Wendy on here. I want to get the three of you guys on here. That would be a great show.
Oh my goodness. That might go crazy. You know what? You would love that. That would be right up your alley. You get us all fired up and hot and pissed off, and
then go to the beach.
And Donna would tell me to calm down, don't blow a gasket.
Oh my gosh, it would be so fun. It would be a blast. Well, I want to thank you. I know you're busier than heck with the remodel and Pacific Fisheries Council and running a landing and everything else. You're like my sister. You guys have so much stuff going on. So I want to thank you very much for helping me and my members understand what we're up against.
Yep. Yeah. And so if I just want to say, if folks go to the CDFW website or type in MPA story map, Google MPA story map, and then it's an ArcGIS link. And that will take you to what they've created. They call it the story map. And it'll show you the MPAs as they exist now. And then a little slide lever will show you what either new or expanding MPAs will look like for each petition. Okay. You see all that, guys? That is all new, either new MPAs or expanded MPAs or changes to MPAs that you're seeing there. There's 30 some petitions. Some have already been dealt with. Some were denied altogether or removed because they didn't meet the guidelines or whatever. But look at what we're up against, and click on them and slide that lever back and forth to show that, you know, it'll show you if there was never an MPA there, and then what they want to do now. And it's shocking. It's absolutely shocking. So take the time to see what's going on in your area, so you can talk specifics when it's time for the meetings.
And we all need to be involved, and we need everybody's help. And I got a lot of people watching in other states. And let me tell you something, gang. the rest of the country goes along with whatever California decides, unfortunately. So you may want to help us out, even if you're in New York or Florida or Louisiana. You guys can come to the Zoom meetings. You guys can show up at the Zoom meetings and you can be there and you can watch. And it's absolutely remarkable that we, the people, can change what's going on, and we, the people, can make something happen. So please help us wherever you're at. You don't have to be in California. You can be anywhere.
Yep. All right. Well, thank you so much, Dave. I really appreciate being on today. And I hope we were able to get some folks up to speed on what's going on, and also a glimmer of hope that like our fisheries are doing better than they have ever been in my lifetime. And that should be a positive thing that we should celebrate, and we should highlight and emphasize that when we go to these meetings.
Absolutely.
You know, it's not doom and gloom as others would love you to believe. Things are better today than they were when I was born 42 years ago. So, you know, I mean, these are the good old days.
These are the good old days. That was well said, Jamie. Thank you, guys. Thank everybody for being a part of the show today. We really appreciate all your participation. We'll be here with updates. Thank you very much, and I'll see you guys